Alcohol is the only drug on Earth that can shrink your brain, mutate your DNA, damage every major organ, and still be sold as something that helps you relax. But to your body, alcohol isn't a drink. It's a threat. The moment it enters your bloodstream, your immune system activates. Your gut lining inflames, your brain shrinks slightly, and your liver starts creating a chemical so toxic it's officially classified as a Group 1 carcinogen. All of this from just one glass. And yet, we're told it's safe in moderation. We're told to drink responsibly. We're told it's normal. Today, I'm going to show you why those ideas aren't just wrong. They're scientifically impossible. The story you weren't supposed to question. If you're like most people, you never sat with a drink in your hand and wondered, what is this substance actually doing inside my body? You never felt the need to ask. Why would you? From childhood to adulthood, alcohol is woven into every cultural script we're handed. Birthdays, weddings, holidays, after-work stress, first dates, breakups, Friday nights, Sunday lunches, even funerals. It's everywhere, all the time, quietly framed as the reward you deserve, the pressure release valve you need, the accessory that makes you fun, relaxed, sociable, confident, even normal. So, you don't question alcohol, you just use it. And over the years, your brain builds a story around it. I like the taste. I'm just unwinding. It helps me loosen up. It takes the edge off. It's my treat. But here's the truth most people never hear. Everything alcohol appears to give you is a biological illusion. Everything it actually does is biological damage. Relaxation? Your brain sedating itself. Confidence? Your prefrontal cortex slowing down. Stress relief? Your nervous system recovering from the stress alcohol created hours earlier. When you understand the science, the benefits of alcohol don't just fall apart, they become impossible. So let's do what the world rarely encourages. Let's actually look at what happens, moment by moment, when alcohol enters your body. And more importantly, what happens after. What you're really drinking. Most people imagine they're drinking a beverage. Red wine, craft beer, gin and tonic, nice whiskey, but those are marketing categories, not biological ones. Biologically, you're consuming ethanol, a molecule produced by yeast suffocating on sugar. Let that sink in for a moment. Ethanol isn't a social lubricant. It's not a treat. It's not a tradition. It's waste. A toxin. The same substance used to disinfect wounds, strip paint, fuel cars, sterilize medical equipment, dissolve industrial oils. Yet when you drink it, the body doesn't pause to evaluate your intention. It doesn't care whether you're celebrating a promotion or having a glass with dinner. It reacts the way it's evolved to react to any toxin, with full biological alarm. And this is where the story gets far more interesting and far more uncomfortable. Because the moment ethanol touches your body, a cascade of events begins that almost no drinker ever sees. Let's zoom into that moment. The first sip, what happens in minutes? Imagine you're watching a live broadcast of your internal biology. A drop of ethanol touches your tongue, and everything begins. 1. Absorption begins instantly. Even before you swallow, ethanol seeps through the membranes in your mouth. This is why that tiny warm feeling appears almost immediately. It's not relaxation. It's your blood vessels widening in response to an irritant. 2. Your stomach sends an SOS. Ethanol irritates the stomach lining on contact. Your stomach doesn't shrug it off. It reacts. Acid rises, nerves fire. The vagus nerve sends a message up to the brainstem. We've got something harmful in here. 3. Alcohol enters the bloodstream in minutes. Once swallowed, ethanol passes through the stomach and small intestine rapidly. Unlike food, which the body breaks down slowly, ethanol slips straight through. It floods the bloodstream and then disperses everywhere. the liver, the brain, the heart, the lungs, the pancreas, the endocrine system, even the reproductive organs. No organ is spared contact. 4. The brain's calming system gets overridden. Ethanol heads straight for the GABA receptors, the brain's chemical braking system. The relaxation people feel isn't the body calming down. It's the brain being forced to slow down. A chemical override. This is where people say, that first drink hits the spot, but they never ask, why does it hit anything at all? Why does the brain respond so dramatically to one molecule? Because it sees ethanol as a threat. And this is only the beginning. The liver's toxic trade. Ethanol, acetaldehyde. Think of your liver as the bouncer of your entire body. It stands at the door and evaluates everything that comes through. Food, fine. Nutrients, welcome. Vitamins, great. Ethanol, immediate emergency. Your liver can't store alcohol. It can't push it aside for later. It can't dilute it or hide from it. It must convert ethanol into something else as fast as possible, or the damage spreads. So it uses the enzyme ADH, alcohol dehydrogenase, to break ethanol down. But here's the twist most people don't know. That conversion produces acetaldehyde, a substance 20 to 30 times more toxic than ethanol itself. Acetaldehyde is one of the most dangerous small molecules the human body regularly encounters. It is a Group 1 carcinogen, highly inflammatory, deeply reactive, capable of binding directly to DNA, known to cause oxidative stress, destructive to brain cells, disruptive to hormonal signaling. Acetaldehyde is so damaging that your liver must immediately create another enzyme, ALDH, to neutralize it into acetate. But here's the problem. Your ability to break ethanol into acetaldehyde is fast. Your ability to detoxify acetaldehyde is slow. A bottleneck forms. Acetaldehyde builds up, and because it can't be stored anywhere safely, it begins reacting with anything it touches. Proteins, cell membranes, DNA, neurons, mitochondria, blood vessel walls. This is the unseen biochemical violence behind just having a drink. And remember, this process begins long before you feel tipsy. Let's move to the organ ethanol changes more profoundly than any other. The human brain. Your brain, shrinking, adapting, and signaling more. The brain is a masterpiece of balance. Everything inside it exists in delicate equilibrium. The ratio of GABA to glutamate, the sensitivity of receptors, the timing of neurotransmitters. Alcohol breaks that balance immediately. Alcohol's three-part chemical hit. 1. GABA goes up. You feel calm because your brain is being chemically sedated. 2. Glutamate goes down. Your mental sharpness declines. Your anxiety drops, but artificially. 3. Dopamine spikes. You feel a slight rush. Social, loose, chatty. This trio is what creates the seductive feeling of alcohol works. But the brain is designed to survive. It always pushes back. So with repeated drinking, it begins to restructure itself. GABA receptors decrease, glutamate receptors increase, dopamine receptors downregulate. This is the beginning of psychological dependence, not addiction, but adaptation. Here's the key insight. You don't drink to feel good. You drink to feel normal, because alcohol changed what normal feels like. When drinkers say, "I feel tense without a drink," that isn't their personality. That's the chemical baseline alcohol created. And then comes the part nobody wants to talk about. Brain shrinkage. The more ethanol exposure over time, the more the brain loses volume. And where does it shrink? The prefrontal cortex, decision-making, the hippocampus, memory and emotional regulation, the cerebellum, coordination. These regions don't control trivial functions. They control the very thing you call you, your personality, your emotional resilience, your judgment, your motivation, your memory. Alcohol slowly chisels away at them. Let's move down into the gut, because this is where alcohol triggers one of its most underestimated forms of damage. Your gut inflammation with every drink. Your gut lining is like a security fence. It's one cell thick, incredibly thin, yet it protects your bloodstream from the outside world. Alcohol punches holes in that fence. When ethanol hits the intestinal walls, tight junctions loosen, cells become inflamed, the lining becomes permeable. This allows microscopic bacterial fragments, endotoxins, to leak into the blood, a process called endotoxemia. The immune system sees this and panics. Cytokines surge. Inflammation skyrockets. Immune cells activate like you've been infected. This doesn't just affect digestion, it affects everything. Energy levels, anxiety, skin health, mood, hormonal balance, recovery, mental clarity. Most people have no idea their mysterious symptoms are linked to alcohol's gut impact, but the immune system doesn't just react locally. It overreacts system-wide. Your immune system. The body thinks you're under attack. When endotoxins leak into the bloodstream, your immune system hits the red button. It releases inflammatory molecules like IL-6, IL-1 beta, TNF-alpha. These chemicals sound abstract, but you've felt them before. They're the same markers that rise when you're sick with the flu, the fatigue, the brain fog, the irritability, the loss of motivation. Alcohol triggers a microversion of sickness every time you drink. This is why even light drinkers often report low mood the next day, anxiety spikes, irritability, poor focus, slower thinking, emotional flatness. It's not the alcohol wearing off, it's your immune system still fighting the threat. But there's another piece of the puzzle: sleep. And this is where alcohol creates damage. Most people feel every day but never connect to drinking. Your sleep. The damage you feel but never see. People believe alcohol helps them sleep because it knocks them out. But sedation is not sleep. It's unconsciousness. More similar to being anesthetized than resting, alcohol disrupts sleep in 3 major ways. 1. REM sleep collapses. REM is where emotional processing happens. Without it, you wake up anxious, you feel emotionally brittle, small problems feel big. 2. Sleep fragments all night. Even if you don't remember it, your brain wakes up over and over. Your sleep may last 8 hours, but the quality is closer to 4. 3. Cortisol surges at 3 to 6 a.m. This is why drinkers wake up heart pounding, mind racing, or feeling wired. This combination creates the emotional fragility so many drinkers misdiagnose as anxiety. It's not anxiety, it's withdrawal from sleep loss. Alcohol breaks your sleep in ways that accumulate. Night after night, month after month, and the next morning, you blame yourself. Why am I so stressed? Why am I so tired? Why am I so anxious? But the answer is simple. Your brain never got to rest. Let's go deeper into the long-term effects, the ones that often stay invisible until suddenly they're not. Your heart and metabolism. The hidden cost. Alcohol doesn't just affect your mood or sleep. It affects the system responsible for keeping you alive, your cardiovascular and metabolic health. Ethanol raises blood pressure, stiffens arterial walls, increases triglycerides, disrupts fat-burning enzymes, destabilizes blood sugar, increases visceral fat, the dangerous kind, and disrupts sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen. Many people blame genetics or aging for weight gain, cravings, or low energy, when the real cause is the metabolic chaos alcohol creates. Your hunger hormones go haywire. Leptin drops, so you feel less full. Ghrelin rises, so you crave more food. Insulin spikes, leading to blood sugar crashes later. Cortisol rises, causing fat storage to increase alcohol, puts your body into a fat-storing, muscle-losing state. No amount of gym sessions or strict dieting overrides a weekly dose of ethanol. And yet the world keeps telling people, it's just the calories. It's not, it's the hormonal cascade. The moderation myth. Why it fails scientifically. People love the word moderation because it sounds reasonable, balanced, and adult. But moderation is not a biological principle. It's a marketing slogan. 3 reasons moderation almost always collapses. 1. Alcohol creates the tension it pretends to relieve. You feel worse, you drink, you feel temporary relief, and then the baseline worsens, creating a perfect loop. 2. The brain adapts. Every drink shifts neurotransmitters. The brain recalibrates around alcohol's presence. Over time, the baseline state becomes slightly anxious, slightly restless, and slightly numb. Moderation becomes harder because your brain is trying to return to balance. 3. Dopamine reinforcement gets stronger. The reward prediction error loop strengthens. You anticipate relief, you drink. Dopamine spikes, you remember the spike, and you crave repetition. This isn't addiction. This is neurochemistry. Moderation is not a moral failure. It's a biological mismatch. Your body simply doesn't operate around socially invented drinking rules. Long-term damage, the part nobody wants to face. Alcohol is linked to at least 7 major cancers, but the number is likely higher because research into alcohol's full carcinogenic pathways is still emerging. The primary mechanisms include acetaldehyde directly binds to DNA, causing mutations which is known as acetaldehyde DNA damage. Chronic inflammation creates an environment where cancer thrives. Oxidative stress involves free radicals constantly damaging cells. Hormonal disruption, specifically an increase in estrogen, raises breast cancer risk. Finally, impaired immune surveillance means your body becomes worse at catching abnormal cells early. This doesn't require heavy drinking. It requires exposure. Cancer doesn't measure your intentions. It measures your chemistry. When you stop, the rebound effect you never expect. This is the part that feels almost supernatural, and yet it's not magic at all. It's biology finally being allowed to do what it's been trying to do all along. Because for all the chaos alcohol creates, the human body has an extraordinary capacity to rebound. Not instantly, not perfectly, but dramatically. Most people assume quitting drinking is just about willpower or saying no to social situations. What they don't realize is that underneath the surface, their body begins orchestrating one of the most impressive repair operations it's capable of. Think of it like firefighters arriving at a house that's been quietly smoldering for years. The moment the flames stop being fed, the rebuilding begins. Let's walk through what actually happens, because when you understand this, the idea of quitting drinking transforms from a restriction into an upgrade. The first 72 hours are the biological equivalent of a reset button being pressed. Neurotransmitters begin rebalancing. With GABA and glutamate, the 2 chemicals alcohol constantly disrupts, starting to normalize. This is why your mind feels clearer even if your sleep isn't perfect yet. Anxiety begins to drop not because you're being strong, but because the chemical that created the tension in the first place is finally gone. Hydration improves rapidly, as alcohol is a diuretic, meaning it drains water and electrolytes from your system. Within days, your cells start rehydrating, your eyes look clearer, your skin tightens slightly, and your energy stabilizes. Sleep begins renormalizing, REM starts creeping back. You may still wake up during the night, but the quality is already better than it's been in months or years. These changes are small individually, but together they make the early days feel like a fog is lifting. Within 2 to 4 weeks, your body starts rebuilding. This is the phase where people often say things like, I didn't realize how bad I felt until I started feeling normal again. Inflammation drops significantly. Without the inflammatory surge alcohol causes, your immune system calms down, your joints feel looser, your digestion improves, and your resting heart rate often drops. Skin brightens as alcohol constricts blood vessels and dehydrates cells. Remove it, and suddenly your face looks fuller, less red, less puffy, collagen production improves, and your body literally looks younger. Blood pressure lowers. And for many drinkers, just 4 weeks without alcohol does more for blood pressure than medication. Energy stabilizes, the afternoon crashes fade, your motivation begins coming back online, and you stop managing your day and start participating in it. Cravings decline because your brain isn't asking for alcohol. It's asking for the neurotransmitter balance alcohol stole. Once that balance is restored, the pull loosens. This 2 to 4 week window is where belief starts turning into momentum. Within 2 to 3 months, the mind comes back online. This is where deeper, more powerful changes unfold, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. Brain pathways strengthen, neuroplasticity improves, your ability to focus returns, your memory gets sharper, and your emotional reactions become more stable. For many people, this is when they say, "I feel like myself again." Motivation increases. You start caring about things you used to ignore. You follow through on plans and discipline feels easier because your brain isn't fighting withdrawal chemistry anymore. Metabolic health rebounds, insulin sensitivity improves, visceral fat decreases, and your appetite normalizes. This is when weight loss becomes noticeably easier, not through effort, but through hormonal alignment. Within a year, you're not the same person. By this point, something profound has happened biologically. Cancer risk declines as the frequency of acetaldehyde DNA collisions drops dramatically, and cell repair outpaces cell damage. Cardiovascular health improves, stroke risk drops, heart rhythm stabilizes, and blood vessel elasticity increases. Mental resilience peaks because your sleep is restored, your neurotransmitters are stable, your cognitive load is lower, and your body isn't fighting inflammation every day. Life expectancy rises, and statistically, removing alcohol adds years, not months, to your life. But here's the part that matters more than all the science. You stop living around alcohol. You start living around you. Your body isn't punishing you when you stop drinking, it's thanking you. It's finally getting the opportunity to repair the very systems it's been protecting for years. And alcohol was never a reward, it was an interruption. Remove the interruption, and your life doesn't just improve, it opens up in ways you didn't even know you were missing. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. Alcohol doesn't give you anything. It borrows it. It borrows your calm by inflaming your body, your confidence by slowing your judgment, your sleep by disrupting REM, your energy by draining your cells, your joy by hijacking dopamine, and your connection by numbing your prefrontal cortex. And in the morning, it collects interest. You don't beat alcohol with willpower, you beat it with clarity, by understanding what it truly is. Because once you see alcohol for what it does inside your body, the desire for it doesn't just shrink, it dissolves. And that dissolving is the beginning of real freedom. If this deep dive into the science of alcohol has changed how you view that next drink, there's one more layer of the story you need to understand: the dark side of alcohol marketing. It's not just chemistry that keeps people drinking. It's billions of dollars in psychological engineering designed to keep the story you weren't supposed to question alive. To see exactly how the industry manufactured the moderation myth, click the video on your screen now.